On that note, Jim, we'll move on to Pinterest. Tumbling in reaction to the first quarterly report since going public a month ago. Company posts a much wider than expected loss. As for revenues, they beat consensus, but full-year guidance was in line. Prior to the release of the report, Pinterest shares had risen more than 60% above the IPO price. Jim's going to have an exclusive, as he said yesterday, with Ben Silverman tonight on Mad Money, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Jim, MAUs were better than expected, up 22, and they are forecasting their first billion-dollar year.
Yeah, I think the market's reaction is silly. Maybe the stock ran up too much, but what we got is great revenue growth. David, you know that it's okay if they spend a lot of money to get revenue growth. This is not Uber. This is not Lyft. This is a new social media company that is going to have great advertising because they have so many viewers. It's also the non-intrusive. Who is going to go against Pinterest? Do you think Congress has a problem with Pinterest? I mean, even the Europeans
not at all,
Pinterest.
of course, right. To your point.
That's how crazy it is.
No, to your point, it's
like Pinterest.
Yeah, they do. They do. By the way, GDPR has not been in any way the sort of the tax, if you want to call it, that was concerning so many of the companies that are dealing with it. In fact, it may be helping their business, not hurting it, particularly the larger companies. But to your point, Jim, yeah, the privacy is where they're at Pinterest because it's about delving deeper into yourself. It's not about sharing. So that's not a concern here.
It's a mindfulness site.
It's mindfulness.
It's about being in the now, David.
But that said, Jim, the stock apparently got a bit ahead of itself after the IPO. Still up from, of course, where it was priced. And as we pointed out, it has been a good performer. But there's no doubt that this number came in below expectations in terms of, where the revenue number was okay, but the earnings or lack thereof were really what's concerning people and the margins.
Right. Well, I think that they're spending to win, and spending to win will make it come back. Who was paying $32 for it yesterday? We have a lot of people. We're confined by people who are doing who are by mount box. We're defined by names. I mean, who bought that at 32? Who was paying dear for deer yesterday? What are these people thinking? I mean, David, you're in touch with a lot of people. Do you think that they? I mean, other than Beyond Meat, what were they thinking?
They were thinking, I don't know. I can't tell you what they were thinking. They like the long-term.
No, me neither.
They like the long-term plan for Pinterest, and so do you. But I don't know.
Very much so. I mean, versus Snap. David, you can look up things about what to do with your dog.
Right. Helpful. Always helpful.
Right.
Particularly when he's peeing on the rug in the bathroom. Yeah.
They got a site for that.
Do they? Okay, good. Yeah, we've got to deal with that.
No, they got that. Yeah. David, there's a whole wall for that.
I haven't pinned anything about the dog. I haven't actually used it much, but I know Carl is a big user.
Well, I would argue that the commentary from the sell side has been, I would argue, restrained in terms of their ratings. Right?
Yes.
This hasn't been I mean, there's argument that they got to fight for mind share in an area where social media is basically flat on usage. And it's not like Amazon where we say you want to buy something, you start searching on Amazon. When you're pinning stuff, apparently, it's sort of like I'm thinking about this down the road. I'm not ready to hit buy right now. That's a different mindset.
It's not immediate intent. That's true. That is true.
But
by the way, Silverman did talk about
these guys are sweet people.
Really, Ben is a nice guy, and he talked about advertising on IPO day right here on this desk.
The really cool thing about advertising on Pinterest is that people are there to get inspiration and do things, and that often means buying. So over the last couple years and for the foreseeable future, we're going to work on bridging that gap between seeing something inspirational and finding a product from a retailer that you trust at a price point that makes sense for you.
Jim, we're going to talk a lot about IPOs later this morning, but, Slack's got some people's attention because maybe after Uber and after Lyft, maybe direct listings have a little more appeal.
Well, look, Slack is one of those companies that we what you see is what you get. It always reminds me of Spotify. But look, the market, we don't need any more deals. I mean, we have Luckin today. I'm going to talk about it later. We have enough deals. I suggest these companies, iHeartMedia, boy, do we ever need that right now. I mean, other than Zoom and beyond, right? Oh, give me some iHeartMedia. I can't wait. Oh, yeah, some Postmates. We need the fifth delivery company to come public right now. I mean, the underwriters are desperate. I mean, honestly, give me some Postmates, will you? I mean, is there anything more valuable than a losing delivery company at this very moment?
No, that's going to do extraordinarily well, I'm sure. To the moon.
I mean, that's a gimme. Oh, how about we? I mean, who is going to lose the most on that page? That's what I want to know. That's why we keep coming back to Beyond Meat.
He's going out in a blaze of glory.
He
That's
really
what's
is.
going on.
I can't even.
On Friday.
Is he like that here usually?
No, never.
He isn't.
It's his time.
You're
It's his
like,
time.
I don't even know how to respond to you. And typically, I do know how to respond.